Hello and welcome back to Team Fortress TV. You're joining me and Sideshow and DavidTheWin for the grand final of the Dreamhack Qualifying Cup number 3 as...
No ducks allowed.
What?
Dream Quack.
It's TF2 but played by ducks. The skill level's about the same, but everyone turns up on time.
Would you rather face one Onkaya-sized duck? Or 6 duck-sized Onkayas?
You can tell it's going into the 4th or 5th hour of the cast right now. It's gotten to that level, you know, like when you listen to like golf commentary and they have to talk for literally like 12 hours of the day and they just lose complete interest in the game and just start talking about their lives.
Well, thankfully I haven't lost complete interest in the game, but I just couldn't resist the opportunity to to jump on your Dream Quack comment. But yes, we are going to be going into our grand final very shortly. It's nameLess against Happy Farmers. They're just doing the band picks, map picks, map bans. Good lord, it's contagious. So, if I'm going to assume that you haven't been paying any attention to the map bans because you weren't paying attention to a few things last time.
I've read them all.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so I haven't. So I'm going to theorize what I would ban or pick if I'm Happy Farmers and nameLess going up against each other. So. Pretty much the permaban for nameLess is Sunshine. I don't think I've ever seen them ban anything else as their first ban. They really dislike the map. They don't enjoy playing it. They don't practice it. They don't have strats for it. So that's what they're going to ban. On the flip side, if I'm Happy Farmers, I think I'd want to ban something like Snakewater. If I'd looked at the previous games that nameLess have played, then that's what I would go for. But I believe they banned Product. So that's an interesting one for me because Bash, Stefan, and Brago are so good on that team.
Yeah, you'd think it's the kind of map that lends itself to their strengths. But then I don't know if they're just not as well versed at it.
Yeah, perhaps it's just the team play aspect that they're worried about because it does require quite a bit of cohesion whenever you're pushing in on Product. So maybe that's what's coming in for Happy Farmers. So then we've got the picks. So, nameLess picked Process, and Badlands was picked by Happy Farmers. So, a classic to first maps. Process, I mean, Happy Farmers just coming up off a win there, although against an unquestionably lower skill team than nameLess. And not to throw any shadow on Lego, but they're not quite at the top, right at the top of European TF2 at the moment. And Badlands is just classic Badlands. Everyone knows how to play Badlands.
I'm excited to see Badlands between these two teams. Also, Happy Farmers playing Process straight away after they've just played Process. What better warm-up for playing Process than playing a close to the wire game against Lego on Process? Yeah, they're going to be. Whereas, you know, think of you can take into account the pauses. nameLess have been sat there twiddling their thumbs for however long, like 40, 50 minutes maybe by now.
Yeah, something like that. So, they should still be at a reasonable level. I mean, it doesn't take much to warm you up for something like this. You just get in a DM server for a while and make sure you're still feeling fresh. Just in mumble with your team, just talking things over. It may be that Happy Farmers are the ones that wanted a little bit longer of a break, maybe to go and get a drink or maybe getting some food or something, but such is life. The schedule demands that we start immediately. So, I mean, there's pros and cons, I think, to be in the team that's just been playing for quite a while in a grueling 3-map series as well.
Yeah, it's going to go right to the wire. Well, hopefully, as long as let me get my words out. So I think this map is going to be really close, but go to nameLess, and I think Badlands, Happy Farmers stand a chance on as well. But I think if it goes past that to the third map, nameLess have it in the bag on Gullywash.
That's interesting. I think I agree with you up until the point of Gullywash. I think Process is going to be pretty close, but the skill level and the ability of the flank control from nameLess, I think, is going to carry them through Process. They're going to be able to push a lot further with their Uber advantages. they're not going to get distracted as much by these flanking scout players, I think, as Lego were. And on Badlands, I think there's a pretty decent chance that we could see Happy Farmers take it. But then on Gullywash, I feel pretty good about Gullywash with this team. I think as long as Relior and Damizi are playing kind of supportive roles and they keep both of their scouts up at the beginning of the mid-fights, I'm feeling pretty decent about their chances on Gullywash. I think it's a team that occasionally nameLess have been taken pretty close to by other teams. They do enjoy, in a similar vein to their Snakewater play, kind of only pushing Gullywash last when they have a good opportunity to. So they'll sit outside on Gullywash and wait until they've engineered themselves a pick or an Uber advantage or something, and that might cause Happy Farmers to stumble as they're not gifted opportunities by their individual play. But I don't feel too bad about this one. I feel like this could be. We could see an upset. There's a fairly low chance of it, but I think it's a possibility.
It's not out of the realms of things that may happen. I think the flank itself, in terms of will Shocky, Bash, Damizi be able to get behind, not as easily as they have done in the map we just watched, by any stretch of the imagination. I think Stark and Drak will keep a much tighter rein on it. What will be interesting, though, is chances are that Stark and Drak aren't going to have a 100% success rate at stopping them. So they will get behind at some point, and they will, initiate a back cap in some vein. What I think is going to be important is what the team as a whole decide to do then. Because we saw Lego hesitate, and normally in this situation of times gone past, Cadus would be the one to make the decision, and he'd make it instantly. He'd have that split-second decision-making on what they need to do with that back cap, what their chances are, what's going to happen, and if they need to go back or not. But without Cadus, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they handle being put in that situation.
Yeah, there's an opportunity here for them to either crumble or forge their own path with the decision making. With Cadus out of the team and move to a coaching role, really, he's unable to be giving them these calls. I mean, in a land situation, perhaps he could stand behind them and make call in the same way that some of the in-game leader coaches from CS do, but that isn't going to happen here today. So they have found themselves in a situation where they've lost their main caller, the man who used to micro a few of their players to varying degrees, and certainly provide criticism and feedback whenever something went wrong and be able to analyze the situation very well. So they've got an opportunity here to either prove that they can manage perfectly well without him or crumble under the pressure, because there's certainly going to be pressure applied.
Yeah, like Shocky, Bash, and Damizi are not going to be afraid to try and go behind. They're not going to be afraid to try and take these one-on-ones or force one-on-one situations. And it'll be interesting to see if Stark adapts his play to that. If Stark plays more conservatively than usual to play tighter to Drak essentially, to provide a bit more of a brick wall of defense on the flank than he normally would, or if he just tries to play their own game against him, playing that more flank-heavy role.
I don't think he's going to be scared of going for the 1v1s either, but that's going to apply to Shocky and Bash. Bash's deathmatch doesn't seem to be near to the level that Shocky's reached. Shocky in the previous game was absolutely just slaying people, like taking 2v1s and winning them. It almost seemed easily when he was on these back cap attempts. I don't think Bash will have such an easy route of it, but if Stark and Shocky keep running into each other, that could be incredibly interesting.
Yeah, it will be. Because I think there was a couple of times where Shocky would take a 1v1 with a buff Sorex and just dispose of him with no sort of hassle, like it was nothing, like Sorex was like a division below him or something. So they'll certainly have to pay attention as well, especially for the soldiers as well, like Captain and Drak. Though Drak does have a knack of hitting some nice rockets on scouts.
They call it the Drak knack.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Drakening.
Get your t-shirts next week.
He's sponsored by Knickknacks as well.
For Draknack Knickknack campaign.
So the players just getting in onto the server now. So how do you see Process going in terms of the score? Are we going to see them give up a few of the rounds at the beginning to nameLess and then come back into it in the same vein that they did against Lego? Or what's your feel of how the flow of the map is gonna go?
I think it's going to be a strong start for Happy Farmers. You know, they've just played a lot of middles with a lot of success against Lego, so they're going to do that same thing. Depending, obviously, on, you know, how much attention were nameLess paying to their mids. Were they, you know, watching it in case they played Process, whether casually or actively? But I think Happy Farmers will start strong, get a couple of rounds, and then nameLess will pull themselves back into it, and end up probably with a score of something like 4-2, 4-3 in favour of nameLess.
Right, somebody write that down, because we need to test the prophet. See whether he's a false god. You had some decent predictions last time, so although on slightly less complicated areas, I think if you were to perfectly predict the entire flow of the game, I'd be worried that you have access to some kind of time machine or portal device.
I use the almighty power of time travel just to be a slightly better caster.
That's what I would do. I'm not very imaginative. I gotta compete with Bren, you know. They are getting their last player in at the moment. It's Relior. He was timing out previously. He is in spec at the moment. We should be going live fairly shortly, though. He's joined the server now. So these two teams just eyeing each other up, seeing how they perform. Dameezy is somebody that I'd like to talk about as well, though. Dameezy and Relior, how do you feel like they're fitting into this team? They don't have anywhere near the experience of these players. Even Thune, really. They don't. Relior doesn't have the same experience that even Thune does at top level. How do you think they're fitting into this team dynamic?
I'm actually quite impressed. I was a bit unsure of Relior going into it. I was like, you only sort of heard someone's name, but you've never actually seen them play, even though you've probably heard their name around for quite a bit. But I've actually been very impressed with the way he's fitted in. He just sort of fits into the team. Do you know what I mean? He isn't like he had a couple of moments with nice air shots and that double on the Process map we saw, but just consistently enabling, which I think is the most important thing for Dameezy and Relior. When you've got players like Shocky and Brago, you just enable them to play their game. You set them up to make the big plays because they will make them consistently. And I think Relior does a particularly good job of that.
We are going live, though. This is the grand finals of the third Dreamhack Summer Qualifier by TF Cups. They're playing for €1,000 and an invitation to the LAN tournament at Dreamhack Summer in Dune. This is nameLess against Happy Farmers on our first map, CP Process. Let's take a look. Brago pretty fast, but is instantly going to get attacked by Drac. And Timo was on about 10 health that entire time as well, CX.
Yeah, we actually see a fun run of the crits right now, going to gain that uber advantage as the fight continues over mid. Demul spamming the high ground. Drac trying to get round on the flank, but Shocky just denies him. He's so low on health. Stark's come to back him up, and Shocky will actually go down. Now Relior's trying to make space, but Fun's separated from Brago. 90% on his crits, and Stark's behind. Bash kits for that important frag, and they're trying to chase, but Brago has crits out. He misses the first one, though. Perm still doesn't have it. He can't charge it up enough, and Brago gets nothing with the crits. Sends a hopeful final sticky, just lands on the roof of the crates, though, and now a great opportunity for nameLess to follow up that mid win with a CP2 push with uber advantage.
Yeah, I don't know whose decision that was to pop off the crit streak. Maybe it was a panic pop by Thune, or Brago just thought he could get a better sticky than he could onto Permzilla, but it didn't quite work, and it seemed like more of a panic pop, as I was saying, than anything that they took the time to think about.
Oh my god, triple back cap, poor Drac. But surely someone has to block, there's 5 people on it, there's 6 people on it, Shocky goes, but no one's gone with him. And Dameezy and Bash's back cap attempt just comes to nothing, and now they're moving into last with those 2 players behind. Captain goes deep as the cap has started, no stickies to deny it, and Happy Cool's just going to cap it off. That's how you deal with the back cap, just ignore it.
Absolutely. Well, if they've got nobody to contest, then absolutely, that's the best way of dealing with it. And the issue there was not in how they went for the back cap. Perhaps a little slow, they didn't get on the back cap until Spire was already half capped, but the commit from Relior, I think it was it Relior and Brago who were still around to potentially block that? I think it needed to be a little better synced up, because if they had gone for it, obviously that backup attempt was working perfectly.
Yeah, and Drac was completely overwhelmed, 1 versus 3. Have to watch out for that later in the game, as we see Relior and Dameezy starting to go over this left-hand side. Bash and Brago bursting through. And they've got him on the back foot right now. Dameezy's flanking behind, picks up Happy. One rocket at Perm. Brago's plowing forward as well.
Oh my god, Captain with a ridiculous air shot. I was about to praise Thune for an excellent surf getting out of there, but Captain hits a ridiculous air shot so high, twice the height of the crate, just slamming Thune and creating the only silver lining for that mid-fight for nameLess.
Yeah, it really saves the day there, but a good mid by Happy Farmers, you know, to get that one. You know, they dominated.
Yeah, they outplayed.
It took a great shot from Captain to save it, like a really sort of, you know, huge play. And now they've got CP2 off the back of that mid as well, equal Ubers.
Really nice play from Dameezy and Relior, just jumping around, zoning them out, making sure that they were supporting the rest of their team wherever they push forward. Very impressed by both of their play on that mid-fight. I'd like to see something like that from them again, because they completely destroyed nameLess, and now they have an opportunity to engineer a pick, or maybe try and get an Ubercharge advantage out. Oh, it's Kritzkrieg! So perhaps Captain getting the pick onto Thune may have sealed the round.
Yeah, Thune surfed into it. He knew he's playing the long game right now. He was like, please airshot me, Captain. Cheers, mate. And here it comes right now. Brago's charged up. He goes for the long range one on Perm. Gets Happy Cool gets dropped by Perm. And now the rest of them are just backing it out. They're starting the cap. Brago's lining up this repush right now.
Shockey's in behind and got Demul, and now he's just burst a hole in their flank. No stickies on it either, and in come Happy Farmers just getting time on the point. Brago hitting pipes, takes down Drac and Permzilla, but it's only Dameezy and Thune, and Dameezy's so weak. Thune's healing! Good God! I know what Thune was going for there. Thune was going for just the Ubersaw, taking matters into his own hands, but nearly threw it because
Captain
he missed
was so
the Ubersaw,
low.
and Captain nearly got the pick on Dameezy. And the spawning Happy Goal nearly got him as well, so good lord, that was incredibly close.
Yeah, sort of, what's it called? Squeaky bum time.
Yeah.
But it works out, and they've tied it up 1-1. And now, Demul was early to mid. Drac's come in right now. He's taking the high ground, just going to back it off. He's regrouping with his team right now. Going to take down Bash. Goes in deep all now, trying to get on top. Takes down Relior as well. Drac's just hitting consistently every rocket. Goes in for the market guard. Takes Fun with him. See you on YouTube, Fun. Drac is decimated there. Two juggle and air shots from Drac, followed by a market guard and a medic pick. And now it's just Dameezy left, and Captain is going to surely finish that one off. And that's a full wipe by nameLess.
Well, we were giving credit to the soldiers from Happy Farmers last mid, but that was something else. That was something special from Drac. Just pulls out the market garden at the end, and there was no opportunity to surf. That's when you go for the market garden, DD5.
And now they're going to take this Uber into last, but Bash is on Pyro. He's denying him a lot. They've still got this Heavy to deal with. Shockey's going to try and dance around. Shockey's taking no damage on Heavy. Even on Heavy, he's unhissable. And now he's lined back up. Sorted it out, taken down, nearly taken down Stark actually. Stark just about gets out. But they've kept this going for a long time, but it's now 6 versus 3. Surely nameLess will be able to convert this as Demul and Drac come in just to close the final blow right there.
The Vaccinator play not quite working out. Wasn't able to keep enough of his players alive, Thune. They were just slowly getting picked off one at a time until they had found the full wipe. So 2-1 to nameLess. Let's see if Drac comes out with something ridiculous once again, because that last mid was unbelievable.
What do you even do when someone doesn't have a mid? You just lose, I guess. Here comes Drac fast again, trying to get onto Brago. Doesn't land the first rocket, going to get some help and regroup with his team right now, as we see Dameezy taking over the high ground. Demul's coming to challenge him. Everyone's just poising right now, trying to duke it out for the high ground, but Captain's going to land on Brago's head, combined with Demul to take him down. And now Captain is just mowing these people down, but Shockey and Bash have turned it on. Bash is going deep as well with Dameezy, trying to find the frag. Happy Cool will just about protect his medic and get himself out of there. But they're going to have to probably give up 2 here, and Demul's still out in Surs. Demul must have not got the memo from his team there now. They were pushing up through choke and all over them.
Stark's gone spy as well, so that's his game plan. They know that it's going to be Uber v Uber, so Stark has the time to go for this play. He's got the Cloak and Dagger, just going to be making his way very slowly, just checking out where Thune is. Is he going to be able to go through PC? He nearly bumps into that Bash.
No one's seen him though, and He's behind him. He's uncloaked out of earshot as well. Finn's looking though, and I think they've cottoned on right now. Stark's just going to try and stand still, but Shocky, and he gets body shot actually by DameEasy. And that's going to provide them to be able to take over lobby, and I think they might even go for the trade. If not, at least get DameEasy a better angle to snipe from. As we see Relio get.
Yeah, Relio's in on the right hand side, just seeing if they can slow push it in, but just baited out a little bit by the rest of his team. Brago's going to fall as well, so Thune forced to pop off the overcharge, and that's great defense, but Teamul's died. Great snipe from DameEasy there, and Brago's going to attempt to push this one through, surely going to trade demos though, and the rest of Happy Farmers has been forced outside to set this one up. DameEasy, pressure is going to be on him to deliver something, because otherwise they're in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, he's not hit anything so far as Stark and Captain find themselves on the point. Happycool trying to pressure it as well. And DameEasy's been slowly but surely forced out here. And now Captain's even trying to chase him off mid. Equilibers though, and because of that sniper, it's going to be hard for any momentum to be kept, or to keep going for the nameless team right now. And it's all on DameEasy, I guess. See what he can open up for his team.
nameLess stacking the heals over in PC, I think just to make sure that he's completely out of any harm's way in terms of the sniper. And DameEasy just sits there waiting as Dimul lays down a carpet of stickies underneath his feet. He was wearing them as slippers.
Looked so comfy. Just had to try him on.
Oh, he did try them on, and now he's back in the spawn queue. But Stark traded his life, so we're just going to be seeing an equal situation. They might even both respawn on Sniper, and we might just be in for the long haul here between this fight. No, Stark's on Spy, actually. Maybe just checking. I think that's more likely he is checking. Yep, does go back to Scout, so both teams with the cookie cutter lineup. Just the default classes. And it's probably going to be on Happy Farmers here to make something happen. Oh, Stark has decided to go Sniper, so... just a bit of communication there, seeing what his team wants him to do.
Brago just hit a... Did Brago hit a silly pipe on Dimul there and he has to get arrowed back up? Brago and Shocky just playing like the bait game right now in Serve. Both doors sticky, Shocky hiding in the corner, and Brago just keeps peeking, inviting someone to try it. And Dimul obliges, and DameEasy follows him through, going to get in that Demo Man trade. Tries to get out as well, and he will. And now they need to push through, but they need to be careful of Stark right now. Captain's going to try and go in. The Uber is popped off. Brago's in a lot of trouble. Will get picked off. The counter Uber comes out, but Drax got a pick on the flank. Surely Relia and Fun can't commit to this right now. Relia's going to surf it away, try and get out as well. Drax behind them all. Shocky's dealt with that threat, but it looks like nameLess want to carry on the chase. No. Just calling it off right there.
Strange decision from them, I think, because Brago and Bash both down. They do have a sniper, so maybe they want something more concrete and themselves to have a visible flank before they're able to push.
Wait, DameEasy's just walked in. He's right above Perm. 1 rocket, 2 rocket, Perm's in the air. He misses the air shot. Perm survives on 20 HP. How did that even happen? He just kind of wandered in through top.
Yeah, I think that goes back to what I was saying. They just didn't have a flank. As soon as Stark's on Sniper and Drak died, they have absolutely no flank presence. And they know that Happy Farmers love to abuse that flank area, pushing behind them or breaking through and go for a back cap, so they were just playing very conservatively. They're happy, they're 2-1 up, you know, push into us, Happy Farmers. But yeah, it does leave that hole for DameEasy just to wander in, so there's a flaw in the game plan.
Yeah, we talked about it a bit before, didn't we, about how Drak would handle, I guess, the flank, especially when the other team's so happy to commit like half of their team, literally, to that place. And now it just seems like a matter of time, and Stark's going to get that opening frag right there, connects headshots onto Relia. And now they're trying to walk from this choke, but Brago's still holding it close, put the pressure onto Stark. Stark takes a lot of damage. And once again, since they still have that sniper, nameLess don't want to overcommit into this push because they don't have as much direct damage dealers. They want something more concrete to push off than just a single soldier frag.
Here come DameEasy and Bash attempting to open something up in the flank, but Drak's position so passive. They spot him all the way back there. They realize that there's no way they're going to engineer a pick onto him. But now they have the intel for later. You know, they know that there's only one player holding that PC area, and they know that Drak's going to be holding it pretty passively. So if at some point nameLess do decide to push, I expect that flank to be abused and them to know exactly where Drak is holding.
Look at a change of position right now as Perm takes the top lobby position, so he's sat sort of in between all these players there and able to provide a lot more heals to Drak. Meaning if they do choose to push through PC, Permzilla's right there to swap the Uber onto Drak. Quite a strong position, really, to sort of... They can sort of take a fight in any direction with Perm right there. And
well,
Brago's just walked out.
Brago's walked out at the same time as they all decide to push from PC, so I don't understand that
Oh
decision
my
at
God.
all, and Thune drops his pocket. This is a car crash. There's no coming back from this. Permzilla still has full Uber charge, and Damizi's going to sack in an attempt to force it out of Perm. Doesn't happen. He holds onto the Uber. Perm is so good at milking these Ubers when his team is around him. He appears to have given up with the pussy pops.
Whatever the opposite of a vagina is, that's now what his pops are like now.
I don't think there's such a thing as a cock pop.
We'll work on the name.
The big dick hole, I think, is...
The big dick hold, yeah. As opposed to the giant pussy pops.
I like it. I'm sure it'll catch on.
I'll get the t-shirts printed.
Well, they're moving in with this 25% Uber advantage, but they're actually doing a pretty good job of delaying here, Happy Farmers. They've given up a lot of ground, but Thune's about to get his Uber charge out. Unfortunately, they drop Brago in that one, and Relior's been picked as well! That's the second time Thune's dropped his pocket with Uber charge, and this is a damn easy solo Uber on Sniper, where he's once again wearing stickies for slippers. So, that push, once again, a catastrophe. This entire round, since attempting to push in to second, has been a catastrophe, an unmitigated disaster for Happy Farmers.
And they're going to push straight into last right now. Brago's trying to put out damage, can't find the pipes he wants though. Stark's going to focus him down with a bit of help from Happy. And now Relia's on the point, they're desperately trying to hold on, but there's so many people alive. Happy and Demul just walking in, Happy has got so many kills right there. Absolutely dominating cleanup. 3-1 right now.
They made a sequence of errors there that we really haven't seen them make. Thune hasn't dropped anybody all game, and then just drops two people, just one after another, just drops his pocket, and then drops his pocket again. And in both of the pushes, Brago was overextended and died before the Ubers even were traded. The first time was just egregious. He just wanders out of sewers just on his own. Confident in his deathmatch abilities, but that doesn't work against a team like nameLess.
Be right back, 1v6 of them. As we see both teams take the mid, it's going to be Shocky and actually trades with Captain to begin with. And now we see Brago walking forward, ploughing forward, putting so much pressure on them, taking on both scouts right now. Happy Cool's so low. They do manage to focus down Brago right there, but they're cleaning up a lot of people. Drak's still on Fun though. Fun should be able to get away from this one, but Permzilla's just fled the scene all the way back on last. Will survive. Relia's on the hunt, but Perm's surely safe. He's at the spawn door already. Nothing Relia can do to get him there. But great play on mid.
As soon as he saw Relia bombing forwards, Relia took a ton of damage early on in the mid and had to take an arrow, but as soon as he was healed, he jumped forward along with Damizi. They tightened the noose on them on that choke point, and Perm just realized that it's dead and just bailed instantly and just keeps his team alive in the round. It's so important, just that role of medic where you're perfectly happy to abandon your team at the first sign of danger, but it just, on mid that is, but it keeps your team in it. If you wipe, you always have that Uber charge to defend last, and it means that you don't give up these unnecessary rounds off the back of a roll the dice mid fight.
Yeah, and now it's up to Happy Farmers once again to try and find an opening. And they're on the cookie cutter lineup right now, so I imagine we might see some sort of sack play from a combination of Damizi and one of the scouts. Perm isn't in, he's quite far away, but he's not literally in the panic room. So there is still an opportunity to get to him, but it will take more than one person, certainly, to force him in that situation.
They sent in a double sack last time, but it looks like they're just going to go in for the single Uber. I don't agree with this decision whatsoever, because Relior's just going to get strung out. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, we saw it previously when they were playing against Publiclear, that they were perfectly happy to just let AMS come into them with the solo Ubers again and again and again. And Relior doesn't have the deathmatch that even AMS does, so I don't know really what they were hoping to achieve with that one.
Relia hit some nice shots on Happy Cool towards the end of it, but even if he killed Happy Cool and he didn't have a buff, it achieves nothing. And now we're going to see Captain and Perm take their solo Uber out, but Happy Cool's with them right there. There's two players going behind, Bash and Damizi stacking the cap. Drax fighting two, it's a 2v2, but Drax the first, which comes out on top of Captain. And now Bash is trapped, Stark's chasing him out of there, but meanwhile, they've cancelled the push because of that back cap threat, and it allows Happy Farmers to hold on to CP2.
And of course, this was the play all along, because now Thune has a 60% advantage. So maybe, you know, maybe they're just playing on planes above what we can possibly conceive in the TF2 meta game. But they're coming in from rollout now. This is going to be them fully committing to this push. Brago's leading it forward along with Bash. They're trying to get as much damage on the heavy as they can, but Happycool's just going to switch off, and now they're forced to play the cap time. Demo laying stickies down on it, seeing what damage they can put out, but it's Brago and Relia who are the first two to fall. And as another player falls, there's Shocky down as well. Dameezy and Bash with a combined 65 health, and this push did not work whatsoever. They were a little bit too late to play the camp time and didn't close off. And that on that right hand spawn, just Happycool strung them along with his heavy play, just eating up all of that damage and then just switching off as soon as he got in the spawn.
Yeah, and that class switch at the end, really, it just meant the entire Uber was wasted trying to focus down a play, and that wasn't there at the end of it. And then after that, they just didn't have the health or the ammo loaded, and we're going to see nameLess pounce on this and Uber straight back through PC and chase them all the way out.
Happy gets the frag onto Shocky. They are losing members of their flank here, and Brago super weak in PC as well. Look at the position from Brago. Why is he always alone covering the flank? It's a very strange decision from the rest of his team. Not to support him, or perhaps from him not to do it, but just when you can hit pipes like that, perhaps you don't need any backup. But
Stark's in on the
Stark
medic.
in.
5 HP, literally 5. He's firing arrows, he's going for the health pack in soon.
On his own, he's going for the health pack on his own, but thankfully there's nobody there. Captain bombed in, but didn't anticipate the Sewer's push from Thune.
Mate, it's either they're either just improvising everything, or it's like you said, they're playing on planes above our existence. Finn predicted there would be no one in Surs because of the stuff going on mid. I don't even know, and now we're going to Uber through choke. Relia's going to try and focus down his scout. Meanwhile, Brago's going deep, trying to get on Perm, but Perm has for Uber. Now Finn has to be careful now he's not too deep. Brago on the other hand is definitely too deep, but still trades with Stark. How does he get a trade in that situation? But it looks like nameLess want to try and put the pressure on as well. Relia's tagged, Shocky's tagged, and they're trying to move in at this choke. But it looks like Bash and Shocky are going to try and push for flank. They've only got Drak in their way. Drak gets one. Drak spams down Shocky again. He's so low, but Drak picks up both of them. Captain was coming to back him up, but Drak's got this on lockdown all by himself. Shuts down that back cap threat. Great play from Drak.
Yeah, great work from Drak. But it was also a questionable decision to not just commit to the fight and choke, because nameLess were pushing in with player disadvantage, and you know, they could have just been crushed in choke if Shocky and Bash committed to that fight, so bit of a bad decision there, I think. Whoa! Who's all the way in? It's Drak, and Brago's just powering forwards at the same time. Slaying people! What is that pipe onto Timul? Oh, that's so good by Brago. Just powers forwards because he knows everybody's going to be following Drak in there. Destroys Permzilla and hits a fat pipe onto Dimul as well, and single-handedly destroyed that push.
Yeah, that's a full wipe, you know. Perm now spawns by himself as well. No one to even build on for another couple of seconds. Absolutely devastating right there. And Brago. But that's what he can do, you know, when he's playing at the front of his team with the heals. So much more effective with that buff. And now we see both soldiers come flying in. Very sort of passive hold at CP2 here. nameLess are committing all their resources to holding on to last. Happy building up that sentry. Stark already on heavy on the Tomislav. I'm going to see them push through one. Risky push with both scouts. Shocky's all over. Demul's going to somehow get away. Surely not. 4 HP on Demul. He survives. The sentry goes down, but they still have the heavy up, and they're not able to get onto the heavy. The heavy's just focusing down people one at a time. They can't get close. Stark's so low. Brago eventually trades with him, but Stark gets 2. It's now 3v4. Bash has no health. Fun's not really in a position to heal them. Fun wants to get out of there. And it looks like Bash and Dameezy are still hovering around. Maybe a couple of ideas about a backup. But Demul's wandered out by himself. Demul gets away again on super low HP.
It's not even like he's playing with the booties. He doesn't even have the added health or the added dodging speed. He's just incredibly lucky. I think he's just either timing it perfectly or getting a little bit lucky in these situations, able to get out. Shocky is playing Spy. I literally cannot find him on the map at the moment.
He's right. He's just below the point right now. He's seen them all go into PC. So he's going to uncloak as this push is coming through. He's probably a little bit too slow though, so Spam is slowing down Permzilla and Shockey's getting closer and closer. He's behind Hafikul and Permzilla. Nobody's looking behind. Shockey's getting closer and closer and closer. Hafikul's on him now, just in time. Shockey just couldn't catch up with Permzilla. Stark Bait finds him out, and then they take the Uber forward off that Shockey pick, but Brago's got the counter pop on. I'm not sure if they can really commit to this. They don't have a lot of Uber left to play with. And now it's nameLess with a man advantage as the Ubers fade.
Now they had an opportunity there to just push off Uber and see what they could make happen. They were all grouped up around the choke, and I thought we were going to see nameLess just push in. But they are just content to hold on to this one. They hold control of mid with 7 minutes left, 3-1 up. So the time does start to play a factor. Braco just trying to hit an air shot there onto Dimul, but the angle was a little bit too difficult for even him to connect a pipe. But now the pressure really is on Happy Farmers to perform. They have 7 minutes to take 2 rounds and at least tie this first map up.
Yeah, it's equal Ubers. It's on them to make a move, but what can they really do from this situation? It all just plays into nameLess's hands, and it looks like it's going to be a PC push. Going to burst through with Bash and Relia. Permzilla pops off, trying to cap his players, but look how well spread out nameLess are, and they can't commit to this fight. They've got the Ubers out of the equation, but they've not been able to set any plays up after the Uber. And now Hafikul is actually pushing through the flank. He's got really deep there. Hafikul's got all the way behind them. Gonna get onto foot. Hafikul beefs the first 2 shots, but the rest of his team are coming through choke. But Hafikul goes down. And now they're plowing through.
Brago's
behind them!
I don't know where Brago came from, maybe sewers, but he is slaying people. How does this happen?
And there's a wipe. Fun survives on 21 HP.
Well, there's no way you're going to predict that anyway, though, is there? Like, you expect the demo to be in front, denying the push. That's why they were tentative at the choke. But no, he's right behind you, piping at you all over the place.
He's at spawn as well. They can't even get forward spawn.
Well, this is the
CP2's
momentum they'd need. They have 10 seconds until they have the Uber charge. Another attempt here. Another one at to make this a 3-2 game. Happy Farmers have had quite a few attempts so far with Uber advantage to push last. They haven't made any of them happen. They just keep getting strung out on one side. You know, there's a heavy on one side, a sentry on the other. They commit fully to one of them and just cannot get the other one down. But in we go. Soon they'll have to not drop Brago. They need to pop off that Uber charge fairly shortly. But they played a decent amount of cap time. Unfortunately, Shockey falls.
Yeah, the Sticky's launched Brago super low as well, down on 5 HP, just about survived. Damizi's in, but the health is so bad. And I find it weird now, even though the sentry's on our right-hand side, they commit so hard to the right-hand side when every other player is on the left. Just puts so much distance between themselves and that heavy and the rest of the team. But Brago's behind in lobby. He pipes the soldier once. He's going to get on last point, Brago, and there's a scout spawns though. Stark spawning, fortunately, to shut down that back cap attempt.
Strange things are happening, CX, but they want to go for it once again. Even with the demo down, Happy Farmers have decided it's their time to shine. 4.5 minutes left. They need to make something happen, but nameLess powering in through that choke point. Even so, with that 30% advantage, Thun is just getting knocked down and runs on top of a roller. He's going to die. Bash falls as well in the same load of spam, and Relia are only on 13 health. They're all grouped up in sewers as well. They know they're there.
Shockey's going to block middle though, takes on Hafikul and Drak though. He's going to get Hafikul kind of low, does go down. Brago somehow gets the trade as well. And then Relia just jumps into that sticky from Dimul. And they clean up everyone, but Damizi's behind, completely cloaked now. Quite far behind, he's come in disguised as an enemy scout. He's just gone top PC. He's then cloaked, he's confused them all. They know he's a spy, but they don't know where he is. Perm just bumped into him. Happy's trying to find him, Damizi's got no cloak. He goes down. Uber advantage push on to last. What a turnaround here for nameLess.
And look at the difference in how they're set up. There's no sentry, there's no heavy. Instead, Bash is trying to run Pyro, which didn't deny anything. They're just taking room on the left-hand side, playing a bit of cap point, bringing the players from Happy Farmers down onto the point, and then collapsing onto them. And this is a really well-executed push. This is going to be 4-1 to nameLess. It was looking good so many times here for Happy Farmers to come back into the fight, but with only 3 minutes left, I don't think this is even technically possible. Maybe if they get 3 50-second rolls, it might be. But this is almost definitely going to be nameLess taking the first map.
And it all comes down to, as it quite often does in TF2, the conversion of these last pushes. As we see Dameasy go big middle, straight onto the ball, waits for him to land, takes him down. Early trade right there, and it looks like nameLess going to commit to this fight anyway. Captain trying to go big, gets denied though. Here comes Drak to back him up. Rago's just trying to plow forward, but he's isolated right now. It's just Shocky and Fun versus the world, and they're completely outmanned and outgunned. Fun's going to go down. Shocky can't even get the trade as Permzilla steals the kill. And if it wasn't certain before, it's certain now, Sideshow.
Absolutely is. So that is nameLess to wrap up the first map. The score is going to be at least 4-1 in favour of them, although they look like they want to put another few rounds on the board and really just make sure the old guys know who's boss. The new guys are in town. When these guys were at the top of... I say these guys. When the people in Happy Farmers were at the top of the scene, really stamping their mark on Premiership, a lot of these players weren't even active in Prem from nameLess. So this is really the old guard against the new guard. Although they do have a few newer players mixed in there as well, with Relior, Dameasy, and maybe even Thun as well, you could say, is certainly not as experienced. It was a decent showing. I think it was closer than the scoreline is going to indicate, but when it came down to the wire, when it came to those clutch situations where you absolutely have to deliver, it was nameLess.
Yeah, those last pushes, there was, I think, 2-3 attempts where it wasn't just we were on last, it was we've got a big old Uber advantage on last. And I think if I remember this correctly, the one round they did get, it was an equal Uber situation on last, was it not?
I'm afraid my memory doesn't work that well, but potentially. I mean, it could have been. I think if that's true, then maybe the difference is just how nameLess were approaching it. You know, with the equal Ubers, they're less likely to build the sentry and the heavy and sit in a really passive defensive position, which is what they were having so much difficulty with. They didn't know what to focus as they came into the last points. They were stuck between a rock and a hard place of either, do we focus the sentry and take position on the right-hand side, and then there's still a heavy to focus down and we haven't got any kind of position over the point, or do we try to go into them, just get baited by the heavy who just runs back into spawn, and then we still have a sentry to deal with. Unfortunately, poor decision-making from them.
I was just in the background to that as well. Stark just hit a ridiculous amount of air headshots on mid, just to really seal the deal, as nameLess want to take it to win difference, not content with merely winning. They want to take it all the way in these last few seconds, them all standing on the point, and they clean it up. But I think it is what you said, like, I don't know if it's because they're not, like Happy Pharmacists aren't as experienced as a team. So when it comes to these sort of, you know, these set play situations where the other team has set up their sentry, their heavy, they've got the position they want to have, you need to be, your Uber push needs to be on point, and your sync up and your focus fire needs to be on point to break it, because they have such an advantage having not just the defensive positions, but all these extra classes, and that are so benefited by a defensive playstyle.
Yeah, well, we'll see with the next map whether they're able to put up a similar kind of defense, but we'll take a look at the logs first. I'm going to bring them up. Captain with a pretty big game.
We seem to be saying that almost every map Captain plays.
I think now that the star player and main caller from his team has been removed, he is getting more of the pushes, more of the heals, and more of the attention in the Ubers. I mean, he took 11.5k heals this map, and he's kind of come back from being a support pocket who only really needs to get involved when things get messy, to now just being an impact pocket again, when you're playing alongside Dimul, at least. When he plays alongside Spud, perhaps that'll be different if they try and put Spud in a bit more of a calling contact, or taking him in the Ubers, or putting more heals on him than Dimul's been getting, but at the moment, he's having a huge impact in these games.
Yeah, absolutely dominant. I also want to point out Dimul with pretty good stats across the board as well. Even though there were like no huge plays, just that sort of consistent damage, low deaths, and when you combine that with the amount of deaths, you know, Permzilla and Hafikul had, for example, you can really see why nameLess, why Happy Farmer struggled, especially on these last points. Like, I don't think Perm went down during any of their last pushes, or Hafikul, or even Dimul. Like they're not getting these frags in these crucial last situations.
And conversely, the last defenses from Happy Farmers were all over the place. They had no semblance of like a game plan or anything like that. They had Bash on Pyro just kind of stood in the middle of the last point. They had some of the players pushing behind when they came in to see if they could get picks on the flank, but for the majority of it, there was no off classes that kind of drain the Uber or take the time or attention. There was no position set up to collapse on them after the point. It was just thrown away quite a few of those rounds.
I think, you mentioned as well Brego's deaths. Like, we saw him have a couple of really big, like, flanks, which, aren't what you really expect from any demo man, really. But if you look at it, like, 22 deaths
That's
in
far
a
too many.
30-minute game is a lot for anyone.
It's the most on the server as well, so he's getting more deaths than Dameezy, who actually didn't get that many, strangely.
But almost died for least.
Yeah, or any of his scouts. That cannot be happening, because Brego is an impact player for this team. Part of it is because he goes on these weird, nutty plays. So if you think about it, there's a balance point where he stops going on some of the nutty plays, but still makes an impact for his team. He's alive more, but he's still making some of the less questionable plays. Because I think part of him as a player and part of his strengths is that sometimes he'll just pull something ridiculous out of the bag, going for a play that, in all likelihood, you probably shouldn't take. If you were playing it mathematically correct, you probably shouldn't be taking those plays that Brego occasionally goes for, but he sometimes does them, and it just changes the tide of a fight completely. So I don't think you can stop him from doing all of those crazy things that he does, but certainly getting 22 deaths in a game and dying the most out of anybody on your team, and generally just being alone for the majority of the map is not how you want to be playing.
I think it's, in terms of Brego's positioning, it's okay when the fight's messy anyway, right? Then, sometimes in TF2, if you just make a decision when you think there's an opening somewhere, or you think there's a space to get through on the flank, and you go for it, and it just works out, like when we saw him come behind him at Choke. But then these other situations where it's a stalemate, and Brego decides he's going to peek Surs by himself and see if he can pipe the nearest player to him. Just make, it's just ludicrous. Like, if you're going to go for that solo play, at least bomb in, Don't just try and engage with just walk into the enemy team and hope you hit all your pipes.
Yeah, there were a few situations as well where he was alone in PC when they were pushing, so the rest of his team pushed in through Choke or Sewers, and he was alone covering PC, which is, standard for a roamer, but not for a demo. And perhaps the game plan there was putting up a sticky trap and waiting for somebody to push into him and seeing if he could get a frag that way, but his presence was sorely missed at Choke, and it just leaves him open and vulnerable if the flank do push him and he mistimes a sticky trap or doesn't hit the pipe.
Yeah, it's certainly very risky, and it's kind of the opposite, of nameLess, who tend to play quite a low-risk strategy. And Brego is just sort of throwing caution to the wind whenever he can. And on the balance of it, I say on the balance of it, it didn't work out, but if those last pushes are, I think beyond all that, it all does come down to the last pushes.
Yeah, that's true. If they had converted those last pushes, or at least converted some of them, then
this would be a different conversation about Brego.
It could have been a tied game, and we'd be singing Brego's praises about all of the situations he generated for them as a playmaker rather than your standard demo man.
Yeah, it would be creativity would be words we'd be using instead of just recklessness.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the entire team kind of crumbled after they got to 3-1 and then failed that last push and got rolled all the way back to their last. The point at which they got rolled all the way back, Brego was really a deciding factor in that. He died peeking out of sewers, got killed, died just before Thune got Uber, got killed, they lose, it's 4-1. It's very, very difficult to get back from that. So, yeah, there's definitely a balance there that they haven't quite struck between Brego being a playmaker and Brego just being out of position.
Yeah. As well, like, if you look at the rounds outside of those last 3 rounds, where it was just kind of the time was up essentially, and they had to play, Happy Farmers had to play a lot riskier. nameLess really didn't have a lot going forward, Like, you think about one of those rounds they won to make it either 2-1 or 3-1, was when Fun dropped everyone twice in a row. Like, they didn't do anything there, really. Obviously, they capitalised on it, but that was really gifted to them. Other than that, the rounds would have been a lot closer just off the back of that.
I agree, but I also think that this is the classic nameless style, is that they literally just wait for, if they're in the lead, even if it's only by 1 round, they are completely happy just waiting for the enemy team to gift them an opportunity. And they know that they've worked on minimizing their own mistakes so much that they're less likely to make a mistake than the opposing team is, especially when they're playing against people who do have playmakers on their team, like Shocky, Bash, Brago. They can wait for one of those players to get a bit antsy, to try and make a play, and then they just compound their victory rather than making the plays happen themselves when they're in the lead. If you saw nameless behind right from the beginning, I think they would be going for plays a little bit more. And that would be an area that I don't think they excel at, this kind of pushing and making plays and making something happen. They're certainly not the best, standout best team in Europe at pushing and making plays happen, etc. But what they are the standout best team in Europe at is making sure that they hold on to a victory and force teams to make errors.
Yeah, and especially for a team with, I guess, what's the word, like mixed experience levels.
Yeah.
Those individual mistakes. I'm saying that it's sort of Brago, I guess, throwing his life away carelessly at times, but when those sort of mistakes happen, they're just ready to roll you all the way back, sort of no mercy, and it's always so controlled from nameless. It never looks like, at no point do you ever really think nameless are going to overextend.
Yeah, I agree. There's nobody on the team who just goes for those plays. Even when it's Stark, he doesn't really play the same style as just kind of overextending. Yeah, it's very rare that you see Stark go for a play and be like, well, that wasn't really the correct thing to do in that situation. It's normally when Stark knows that he has something to fall back on, or it's a free play that he can make, or he sets it up in such a way that it's unlikely to fail or has a good chance of working.
You notice it quite a lot on like Viaduct, for example. Like, he'll play really tight, like as a second Hafikul, essentially. But then if he sees the other team running sniper, he switches it up and suddenly plays a lot more with Drak and exploits the fact that flank is now going to be weaker. But again, that's, even though it's kind of the same thing, it's in a much more controlled setting where he's got a higher percentage chance of it working out.
What do you think about the Happy Farmers' chances of playing in Premiership this season? They have to go through some kind of Premiership qualifier. There's going to be a few other teams in there, like Top 5 Rocket, the Damage Garage. Who else are the teams that are going to be in there? There's a variety of them anyway. Do you think they're a standout team that's ahead of everybody else, having won the ETFL Preseason 24 Cup against DD5 Abs and now beaten Lego to come into this one as well? Or where do you peg them compared to the rest of Europe?
I think they're up there. Like, it's kind of weird because they kind of seem promising, but because the players, because from previously, they're not as promising because you kind of know the limits in some ways, But as we say now, we're going live into Badlands, and Happy Farmers need to win this one if they want to stay in this. But it is a map that lends itself to backcaps. So Sideshow, why don't you take us to this mid as we see them play for their lives right now?
I don't think anyone's going to be backcapping the mid, but we'll take a look at this one. Hopefully no one's backcapping the mid. Brago and Demo both with the balcony rollout, and they're going to be trying to slam damage into everybody. Hafikul taking so much damage, and Drak is the first casualty. Stark replies with a frag onto Shocky, and it's Happy Farmers who've taken so much position already. Demol hits a pipe on a Brago and knocks him incredibly weak, but is going to fall, so Demoman advantage as well here for Happy Farmers. Stark caught at Shithouse, going to attempt to make a play happen, waits for Captain to engage, Captain already in, onto Thune. This is the opportunity for Hafikul to re-engage, and it's Thune who drops that one. So really nice coordinated play, and that's kind of the difference between nameless and a lot of these other teams, is that they coordinate their plays so well together.
You saw it, like I was on Stark's point of view at the time. You saw him just stop, he just waited patiently, knew Captain was coming, and set it up. And even though Stark did actually get fragged pretty quickly, it was so sad in some ways for Fun, because literally the split second it ticked over to 100% was when Hafikul dropped him. And we then see Damn Easy go for a play onto Perm, and that doesn't pay off either. And it's crits for Fun, This game's all over the place already, Sideshow.
It certainly is. They're going to be trying to take control of lobby, I think. They're running Dameasy on Spy, or is he just checking? I think he's just checking to see whether they're running... I can't even think what he would be checking for, actually. Maybe just to make sure that they're not running crits, but he did get a bomb in onto Permzilla, so he should have known that anyway. Who knows? But anyway, he got some kind of information, and they're the ones on Kritzkrieg. They're holding on Grey Bridge at the moment, just going to wait until they have the crits before they try and go in. Probably going to be Brago from main. Demon's got a few stickies there, a few on the point, so we'll see how they attempt to approach this one.
There's Happy on Pyro as well, which could be crucial. I don't know if they know it's crits or if Happy's just on there to try and deny the Uber. But in comes the crits! Happy kill goes down, but Perm does pop the Uber. So, but there's someone on the point. Shockey's got so much cap time. Demol steps off it!
Wow. Shockey just runs on the point. Did he body block him?
Well, like, Demol and Perm both dropped on it, but they were Ubered. So Perm steps off a point, presumably because Demol's on it and Ubered. What could go wrong, right? And then Demol just backs up a little bit. And just, because it was so capped already, in that split second Demol stands off a point, Shockey just caps it.
Well, in all of the chaos, Happy Farmers 1-0 up. So, this time, Shockey getting obliterated! Holy hell! Drac and Stark just came through the shithouse and mulched him. That was incredible. But they've both given their lives for it. They've got a lot of position here, though, nameLess. Dameasy's going to have his work cut out for him, trying to re-establish position on this on this mid. Relio runs forward with the escape plan out, and it's all on Brago once again. He's going to be...
What? What? Sniper pipes! Unbelievable!
No.
Who would take that shot?
Who would go for that? Why did he not bomb in?
Why didn't he jump? It doesn't even matter!
What the hell?
Brago writes kiss face in chat.
Oh, that's crazy. That's one of the best pipes I've seen in so long. Just, he only fired one. It wasn't like he was spamming.
It was just like, I've got this. Yeah. I've got this.
He didn't even fire a second one. It wasn't like he, you know, he literally just waited to see whether his first one would hit before he even thought about following up a second one. He was so confident. That's madness.
It makes no sense. Like some of Brago's plays we've seen all night, they don't make any sense. But he pulls them off so consistently.
Yeah.
Can you even argue with it?
I'm not going to argue with it. That was beautiful. But in comes Relior, who's had the Uber charge popped off on him. Thune juggled back a little bit, but Permzilla on 80%. Brago goes in for the bomb once again, and Relior in to follow that one up. Brago somehow gets airshot by a pipe that just exploded in the air.
Like a mid-air roller?
Yeah, mid-air roller. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before.
And now Dameasy's behind. And everyone's gone back for him except for Stark and Happycool staying on that middle point. Bash is behind as well, but they just denied him all his cap time. Shockey's trying to come in, catches a headshot though, will surely go down. And Dameasy and Bash are now just kind of stranded.
Dameasy and Bash are so far behind the enemy team. If nameLess keep powering forwards with the supercharge advantage, they're going to have so much room to work with. They do have Stark on Sniper, which might hurt them a little bit. You really need your scouts if you're going to be pressuring forwards with this. But what? I was looking at the complete wrong thing. How on earth does Drac manage to pick up Brago with the Market Gardener of all things?
And then Stark goes back and blocks middle as Sniper.
What is this map so far? We've only been in it for 5 minutes and I'm already questioning my existence.
It just seems like the number of people just everything everyone's trying is working out just perfectly as we descend into a brief sort of dry spell in action as it's equal Ubers on last, Stark on Sniper.
I half expect Bash to get some kind of air shot, flare gun into power jack combo now. But I think he'll just be going for the classic role of deny the Uber charge. But both teams do have the Uber.
Yeah, and it just seems like a matter of time. Stark takes a lot of damage down main, gonna have to pick up a health pack, rotate his position again. I feel like they need to do some things to maybe negotiate Stark a bit of a better angle right now, because they're not really supporting him at all. They're just hoping someone drops main. And actually, Shockey's taken the invitation to take the Sniper 1v1 fight. Gets his buff, goes back for the fight. On a real sniper rifle as well, not the Huntsman.
I don't really like this play of trying to counter-snipe from Badlands Last. The only place that you can properly counter-snipe from is the low ground, if they're in main. And if a push comes in, you're screwed as a sniper on the low ground. There's no way you can get back into spawn properly because the Ubers are going to be coming in from the top ground normally. You're just a free pick, and unless you hit something and kill it, I mean, that's only equalizing. That's not even getting an advantage for your team. So I'm not a big fan of running sniper on Badlands last.
Brago's in the pipe as well, despite it being equal Ubers.
But, yeah, it's a bit of a strange setup. It looks like an Uber disadvantage setup from Happy Farmers with the Pyro really close forward, Shocky really far back on heavy, Brago in the pipe, but it's just equal Ubers. It's like there's no opportunity for them to repush anything at all if they get a favourable exchange here.
Shocky's on heavy now as well, and Dameezy's now holding left side by himself as sniper. I mean, it's probably all going to work out fine anyway as the Uber exchange comes in. They go straight for Brago on top of a point. Brago's not going to be caught, ends up killing himself. But a much later pop for the German team right now. And Relia is actually maybe going to get caught out main. They need to regain the high ground. Bash is now holding main as Pyro as the repush tries to come in top from Demul. He's pressured back though, while Stark picks him off through main. And Demul's just walked in top right. Hafika was going for the point. It's sticking off. They all drop for it. So much damage. Relia gets launched into Hafika, and here come all the players. They're going to cap it out. Drak just somehow slides onto it and gets that last sliver. Strange push.
Yeah, but it was really nice play from Captain to take the Uber in and just kill Brago immediately. Because that set up the whole repush there. As soon as the Demoman's down on Badlands last, it's like 10 times easier to push the last point because of how quickly the point caps and how easy it is to flank straight in onto the point. So, really nice play from Captain there.
And now we see Demul get pressured off middle straight away by Shocky. Dameezy and Relia coming as well to back it up, but it's actually Brago who goes down first. The Stark's got him behind. Demul's having a 1v1 underneath. Now he is going to lose. Stark's coming in behind Relia now, low on health, but a constant threat behind. And Fun's regroup with Dameezy on middle, but Fun's maybe horrifically overextended right now. He's going to crater. Doesn't land on it. Dameezy's going deep for Perm. One final rocket will do it. In comes Relia and Bash. They get another trade. But great play from Dameezy. That on a sliver of health, that final rocket was exactly what he needed.
Certainly was. I mean, Relio potentially would have been able to follow it up as well. It was quite a nice synced, or staggered rather than synced, bomb from the soldiers at the end of the mid-fight to try and save it. But Brago getting pressured out right at the beginning of the mid-fight there without any backup from one of his scouts. Historically, Shocky is normally the choke scout who deals with that kind of stuff. I mean, the infamous quote is, Shocky, go choke, deny soldier, deny scout. Which just shows you how much faith they had in Shocky, that he was supposed to take a 2v1 on every mid-fight, and
that was a safe bet, yeah. Just 1v2 him every mid and we'll be fine, no problem.
Wasn't able to make it happen that time though.
Yeah. And now we're in a stalemate situation, but around the choke point, it looks like we want to line something up. Stark's feeling a play right now, pressuring Brago straight away. Trying to bait someone else in as well, and Relia takes a load of damage, and there's actually crits right now from Fun once again. But Brago's taking a lot of damage. He's going to charge it up though. Here he goes. They're going to rush him though. They're going to launch in. Captain's in. But they both get picked off. They didn't get Perm though. Perm's not popped. He pops now, but look how far away he is. Happy Cool and Demul are going to have a lot of work to do with Nisuba. Demul's going deep though. He wants Fun. He gets
Oh, they're crushing the flank as well.
And Demul's now completely isolated. Trades damage. And Demul's somehow staying alive. But great rocket from Relia to actually win that one in the end.
Oh, Shocky and Bash are going on a rampage. They might get caught just at the tail end of this. Oh, Brago's bombed in!
He nearly kills Stark as well. He hits the pipe.
But what's the point? Why would you go for that play? You've already got mid. You've probably already got Spire as well if you keep Brago alive in that situation. And instead, he just bombs in when his scouts are already retreating and don't have the health to back him up. I mean, that's one of the questionable plays.
Yeah, the unnecessary ones. And now it's allowed an opening for Stark to get behind on the back cap. And it looks like Hafiko and Drak want to try and block, but are they too late? Drak comes up, but he gets his feet on the point. The mid cap is blocked, and now Bash is super low. He needs saving, he needs an arrow, really. They're regrouping, and they've got hold of mids. And I don't know how long, with only 4 players remaining, they can actually keep hold of this CP2. Drak's going to fight it again, combines with Demul. But the cap still goes down. Drak should be able to just about get out. Weird exchange. They are just trying to buy time there, I think, nameLess. Yeah. But it didn't work out as it's a full crits coming down main with Brago.
They've got Happy on Pyro. Happy was actually the first casualty last time, but this time it's going to be Captain, and the Pyro is going to drop down. Happy Cool doing his best to reflect these crit stickies. It's all on his trigger finger. The right click, Cummins out.
He's standing on a crit sticky! Happy's just standing on a crit sticky!
Oh, good lord, he's so lucky. Shocky once again just runs onto the point, gets a ton of cap time there. They might still be trying to play this one. They might see if they can send somebody else in behind, but everybody from Happy Farmers was grouped up all around the drop down. They don't have any spread over the map. No width to their play. But Brago,
it's just 1v1 in scouts with his pipes
just
again.
In through drop down, 1v1ing people. It's absolute madness to watch. It's beautiful to watch as well, though. But DameEasy's going to come in from the top right-hand side. He's going to get onto Demul, takes him down, takes Perm as well. Perm drops down onto him. Great force from DameEasy. And now, if they rotate, they have 90%, and they should be able to push this one. Relia caps it anyway. But I think that one was a given. That round was always going to go that way as soon as DameEasy made that fat play into last.
I just can't get over Cappy Cool standing on that crit sticky for so long and him not detting it.
Yeah, he didn't even realise. He was just utterly oblivious.
Wearing it as slippers, as I believe a wise caster once said.
You can tell that Happy Farmers are way more comfortable on Badlands than Process. Their last defenses are much better, their last push is so much better, and the use of crits has been inspired so far. Relia, with a deep bomb in here, hasn't made anything happen particularly, and DameEasy already died in-house, so this one is a completely failed push, but Brago, again, just taking a 1v1 against Stark, wins it, you know, as you do. You just take on the best scout in Europe and just two-pipe him repeatedly.
You know what, it's always Stark as well. Like,
I think it's because Stark's always taking the fights rather than it's Stark with bad movement, but
like,
he'll start getting triggered eventually.
You know, when you kind of look at, like, you know, if you're watching a game, you kind of see if, like, one scout's winning 1v1s against a certain scout more. Right now, Brago's just winning so many 1v1s against Stark, it's ridiculous. And they come through choke now, but they've just been pressured out. Great aggression from the Happy Farmer guys. And I don't think they want to chase it on, because, as always, nameLess's sort of post-Uber positioning is always exactly where it needs to be.
Stark and Happy Cool holding hands, and they're just storming through Resup. They've managed to pick off Bash, and DameEasy was down to 2 health, and that's all just a play to get Stark behind. So this is classic nameLess now, just pushing Stark in through that drop-down area. Happy Cool's super weak, but it's just managed to get him in.
How did Brago kill Drac? All these pipes are ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand how he's hitting these. They're absolutely incredible. Stark is on the back cap, but Relia's timed out on mid-jump. Oh no, he's back in. That was just a lag, but Stark goes down. Stark will be wondering what the hell was going on there, because he was getting ready to deny Relia, and he just paused in mid-air. Hit his lag switch.
And Brago's been alive.
Did he hit the pipe on Demul as well? I have no idea. I don't think he did, but...
I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But you saw it, like, Brago comes flying in, and they just go, no, not even worth the risk. We're backing around the corner right now, because Brago is on fire. And here comes normally this time free resupply. DameEasy and Bash forcing their way in there, and they're right behind them. Drac's going to pick up Shocky as DameEasy takes this Uber in with Bash. They do get the pop off on Perm, and Fun's actually going to go out Valley. Now Captain's chasing DameEasy, focuses him down. Bash is on Permzilla though, but Captain's cleaned up both of them. Permzilla survives. The entire flank is down for them. I think Brago's put up a trap, but not a lot else. And Stark's even getting in behind right now. He's walked right behind Relia. He's going to one-shot Fun, who was already tagged. Stark's going deep as well for more now. He's got backup, but it doesn't matter. He got the important frag. And where's Brago right now? He's just jumping out, actually. I thought there was a huge play coming again.
I think there's a potential for a huge play to be happening here, because Shocky, Bash and Brago are kind of gearing up to see if they can get onto Permzilla, who has currently a 60% advantage. They don't look like they really want to give it up and go back to last. They haven't set up any kind of uber disadvantage defense just yet. They are seeing if nameLess are gifting them an opportunity to make a fat play happen, but it's not fat plays o'clock apparently.
No, it's kind of an improvised forward hold, but they baited out the stickies.
There's another 1v1.
Happy Cool's trying to get in as well, but DameEasy wins that one, and suddenly they're 2 scouts down. Great forward hold from Happy Farmers, and now they're going to push. Relia does his best Stark impression as he runs through into the sticky trap, and I imagine this is just going to call it off for both teams.
Bash has been playing Pyro the whole time during this forward hold. He's only just now going back to spawn, I think, switch off to scout, but they've lost their opportunity to push out. And Stark's in on a flank. Oh, Stark's in on a flank, all the way to last! On the back cam, nobody spotted him! Oh, that's one of the problems with this kind of improvised hodgepodge forward hold from Happy Farmers, is that there was nobody watching that bottom left-hand side. Bash was on Pyro for some odd reason, went back to last, was in spawn by the time Stark flanked. Brago didn't have stickies on the trash shutter door because he was holding from main, so a bit messy from them. But it's still 2-2.
Yeah. 13 minutes left right now as we go into this next mid. Bash playing up the enemy shithouse. Brago playing off his own balcony, but Demul and Captain going to get that first frag on Shocker. Brago and Fun are now trapped in house. Reddy is trying to go deep. Gets denied. Great air shot by Perm as Bash denies for chase onto Fun. But there's more nameless players where they came from. As Brago's going to rotate into lobby. Just lock it down, really. Get back with his medic.
Stark's in
there's
already.
a lot they can do.
Stark looked like he wanted to make a play. He actually just ended up circuiting lobby, seeing whether anybody was holding close, and then exiting through trash. But I thought he was going to just attempt to go all the way to last. Damn easy's on spy as well, CX. In lower lobby, chilling.
Brago's in
not
top
realizing
lobby.
they're all above his head.
Brago's in top lobby, nearly 2-pipe Stark again from across lobby. But it's all about Damn Easy right now, because nameLess are going to take a little while to get themselves healed back up and in position. But I don't know if Damn Easy can actually get behind everyone from where he is right now. Oof. I think Stark spotted him, and Damn Easy's just going to have to fall out.
Damn Easy goes back to spawn, he's going to change up his class. Probably just back to Roma, going to be watching that bottom left-hand side. Bash on Pyro, in a better position for the Pyro this time. You know,
not holding balcony.
No, I'm not a fan of the drop-down Pyro, frankly. Especially for its potential to push out from last. Maybe with the detonator, so you can do the jump onto Spire and deny people up there, but that would be some... that would be something advanced. Stark's in again! Stark just in, once again, onto the point, baits off the stickies, Brago's forced to put them back down, going to take the 1v1 against Brago. Who's going to win this 1v1 now? Brago attempted to hit the pipes, Damn Easy comes in and helps him out, but there's no stickies on the point, and Brago's just really weak behind. And now a full uber charge is going to be coming in from top left. And Spencer on the point, not going to work.
He's trying to buy time, but Brago's still alive, he's sticky in the point. He goes down now, surely they've got it. It's just Relia, he's denied, body blocked by Perm and Demul. And as in the first map, despite going behind, nameLess come out on top eventually. Now 3-2 in the lead, and this is where it's dangerous for Happy Farmers. We know how comfortable and in control nameLess can be when they already have the lead.
Especially when they seem to be getting the better end of the mid-fights recently. The past two mid-fights have gone comfortably the way of nameLess. So they absolutely can't afford that to happen.
And we see Damn Easy going early to shithouse now on this next mid, combining with Bash, and they're just taking the other team's side right now. Stark's threatening behind, but they've just swapped sides right now, and no one wants to be the person to make the first move. Looks like Drax's going to take here. Bash is going to finish him off as well. Takes on Stark, 2 for Bash right now. In comes the flying Demul. Bash is going to take him. Easy for Bash right now, and now Perm's in a dangerous position as they want to chase. Damn Easy lands a big rocket on him, but he will survive. Relia's on Perm as well, but in comes Shocky to back him up. Shocky's got 2. He wants more. Fun! No, what's he doing?
Please,
he gets away!
Oh my god, brilliant. But that was 3 frags apiece for the scouts. Just Bash went on a tear, a rampage at the beginning. 1v1 Stark, picks off the demo, got a soldier as well, and Shocky cleans up all the rest. Apart from that hairy moment at the end with Thune, that was a very, very good mid-fight.
But it
especially
worked out
from the scouts.
But Drax behind right now, surfs onto Fun. 2 rockets, he pops. 20 HP. Fun, you probably have to pop when you don't know where the damage is coming from as well. And he was right on top of him. So they're going to try and take it in, but the Uber's going to fade just as they get to the front of that lobby area. And despite being 1 down, I think it's just looking pretty comfortable for nameLess right now.
Bash is already in from bottom left. Stark's heavy watching bottom left for some reason. Going to take the 1v1 against Shocky. Shocky minces him. Stark didn't even put a point of damage on Shocky, I don't think. But Shocky's going to see if he can make something happen. Just going to be sneaky and hide in main. See if he can find a way to get in. Brago once again setting up a forward trap. Drac takes a ton of damage from it, but that's not going to find the frag, unfortunately. Did 190 damage, but needed an extra 10 to finish off the Roma.
And now Brago and Damizi playing around bottom right. Not quite sure why. Meanwhile, Stark's gone off to spy. A bit of a weird one since they have such a big advantage. But I guess they just want to seal the deal with a medic backstab.
They might even want something like the Demoman in order to push out more easily with this Ubercharge advantage. I think I'd be comfortable with any of those kind of picks while nearly runs into Shocky, who for some reason decides to push underneath Stonebridge. But Stark's right behind his prey. Thun nearly knocks into him with his medigun, but Stark just backs it up, waiting for his time to strike. Like a viper.
Oh my god.
Like a very loud viper.
What a disabled snake.
Like a viper that thought he had legs. I was surprised at the fact he had to slither.
Meanwhile, some kind of last push is happening. The Ubers are traded. The point is half capped right now. Demol is sticking it back up, but Bash and Shocky have come back in. Great flash onto Captain to keep him alive, but they just drop down. Perms had to drop onto the point. He'll get taken down by Bash. Where's Brago when they need him the most? He's walking in now, but there's too many people to pipe, and he can't find any of them. Meanwhile, Stark's having to be careful to avoid Fun's arrows on the way out. And Stark's still going, though. Goes to get on the point. Damizi wants to challenge him straight away, though. But Stark's all over this. He could do some backup from his team, though.
Captain and Demol are pushing out from trash, attempting to give some help to Stark. They do find a frag, but there's a possibility of them getting caught here. Bash is really aggressive, and he's going to pick them both up, and he's going to be going to last from bottom right. He's got the 1v1 against Drac, but in the meantime, there's a backup going on. Hafikool has been picked off, though, and Bash is incredibly weak on this last point, just dueling with them. He's getting help. Oh, this isn't going to work out, though, and Brago just attempting to get the trade, gets the trade with Permzilla, and Shocky is going to seal the deal. Makes it 3-3. We really do have a game here, CX. 3-3. 7 minutes left.
Oh my, it's too close to call. Like, so many big plays, so many crazy plays, so many situations, which I can't even figure out how they happened, let alone what's going to happen next in them. As we go into the 7th mid right now, they need to win this one. Happy Farmers, they need to win this map to take it to the 3rd one. As we see their scouts both come through Valley, Demol on balcony, and it looks like nameLess wanna go shithouse. Captain coming in, gonna get denied by Relia, goes right back, and Brago actually picks up the first frag, and Demol's struggling to get through, and they're just crushing them right now in this shithouse area.
Unfortunately, they lose Thun once again to a flanking Stark, but I mean, you can give up your medic if it results in your mid being won, but the situation there was just Thun being left alone at the end of a mid fight, and one person comes in on the flank and gets it. So that's a little bit poor by the rest of the team. Stark's going to take a 1v1 against Damizi. Looks like he's getting the better end of it as well, just giving them all the run around. No!
I can't.
This is just awful.
He got Damizi as well.
That's great play from Stark to get Damizi as well, but it's really bad play from them not to be just helping Thun out in that situation. But now Shocky and Bash are all the way behind. Shocky and Bash are in a 1v2.
They can still win.
Wow, what poor sloppy play from Happy Farmers, but somehow both of their scouts get in behind.
Shocky writes plan in chat. What a guy. You know when we said, what was it? Planes above ourselves.
Yeah,
in terms of a strategy.
The metagame is evolving before our very eyes.
That's
you
for
bait
lead.
out your medic.
That's for lead with 5 minutes left right now. And Demol's going to get to mid first before anyone else. Damizi and Shocky are already aggressive up shithouse. And we pause?
We do pause. Now, this pause is going to potentially make a lot of difference, because it's going to hit when there's 3 minutes left in the game, and it's probably someone timing out.
Yeah, there's 11 on the server right now. Let me do some thinking.
I'll let you do some thinking. I'll be silent to help you thinking.
Oh, good. No pressure then. Drac is not on the server. I'm done thinking now if you want to come back in.
I'm back. I'm back in the room. Drac is not in. See, right, so...
You're back in the room, but Drac isn't.
Well, exactly. In a minute and a half, then, Drac is going to be the absentee. It could have a large effect. I mean, it's not one of the power players from either team, but it does make the flank potentially quite a lot weaker, and Drac must be feeling bruised and beaten up from being exploited this hard. He won't be able to sit down for a week after the pounding that Bash and Shocky have collectively given him on both of these maps, actually. Although they managed to mitigate it a lot on Process, they haven't had the same kind of strategy or success on Badlands. Bash and Shocky have just been running rings around them.
And looking at this mid right now, we're in, again, Stark's exploiting that shithouse position and the flank. What a difficult position Relly is in right now. If you can see him just coming up that slope looking at Stark. Going to be so difficult for Relia to gain ground for him and his medic right there. I think a lot of it depends on what Shocky, Bash and Damn Easy can do from a position they've taken at shithouse.
Yeah, I think the best play for Relior is really just to jump away. Is to jump away and maybe try and ride a meat shot from Stark to potentially bomb their slope or something. Just make the best of a bad situation, because he's got a height disadvantage and he's fighting against Stark. I mean, he's got to hit 2 really, really good upwards direct rockets if he wants to win this fight. But Stark actually not playing it aggressive into him. That's a strange one, I think, but... he is bounced miles away, and all of the position given to him. Stark's going to curve down from the balcony area, going to try and take the 1v2 against Relior and Thune. Thune just kind of stuck in shithouse, really weak. He was on crits, but it's not going to be up for quite a while, and Happycool gets that frag, but they trade 2 for it. Shocky comes in at the end and find the captain, the pocket captain, and the pocket scout. Happycool. It'd make my life so much easier if Captain was the captain, but I don't think he is.
Maybe he's the captain now and there's no Cadus.
It's possible. I hope so.
Good read by Damn Easy, going Spire, just predicting sort of roughly the area Stark would be in and cleaning up that player behind. I'm just going to set up a 6v5 on CP2. Well, CP3 to 2, but it looks like nameLess are going to hold close despite of that player disadvantage.
They know, I think, that the Kritzkrieg is going to be coming in within the next 20 seconds or so, but Captain's found a perfect flank. He's come in over Wooden Bridge, just drops down onto Thune and picks him up. He's actually done a lot of damage to Bash as well, so he's set the rest of his team up with a perfect opportunity to push in from choke. Brago's got behind the flanking Demoman once again, but he's not running Pain Train, and I don't think he's going to be able to make anything happen here.
Shocky's trying, I think, but he can't get on the point.
I mean, we could see some long-range pipes coming in. He's seen Perm as well. But what's he waiting for? Who knows?
This is where Drac timed out. But Brago's walking in. They've forgotten! They've forgotten! They've forgotten about Brago. In comes Bash!
Drops Perm, and then turns around and meat shots Happycool! Oh, what a play from Bash. Just absolutely bossing the soldier that was on slope. Comes in, drops Perm, and slays the other scout that was with him. Unfortunately, they are going to lose Spire, but... they got the Uber out of the equation. They might even be able to push out if they get some decent spawners.
Why would you push
I'm not
out?
sure they'd want to,
2 minutes
though.
50 left.
Yeah.
Risky.
Very risky.
And it's equal Ubers as well.
Pretty far forwards.
Actually, no. Big Uber advantage for the defending team. Happy Farmers.
Yeah, they've got this.
They got comfortably. They just need to avoid... they've got the Pyro. They've got everyone stacked up. They're building the Uber just to be extra safe. And there's no off classes from nameLess. But they still... 2 minutes is a long time to work with in some ways when you've already got them on last.
Kind of. In terms of Uber charges, it's kind of 2-3 Uber charges, but that would be if you were going pedal to the metal. Whereas I think nameLess will want to set something up for themselves. This is kind of the situation we were talking about just before we launched into this in the pre-game, where nameLess are so comfortable being in the lead, but when they're behind, are they able to make the plays that win them games? We'll find out.
There's stickies where they want to push through up top. There's a sticky trap up top. One scout runs through. Demo walks through. Brago will take that frag onto Maul. Drax
just
delaying
more and more time, just taking down the timer.
Also, in this situation where they need something, they need an idea and the execution to be perfect. But without Cadus there, without the voice, who's the one leading the charge? Now they've back to outside. 1 minute 30 seconds left on the clock right now. Equal Ubers. Again, cookie cutter lineups from everyone, just Shocky on heavy and Bash on pyro with defensive classes. Happy Farmers.
D-Mul's got the Quickie Bomb launcher. D-Mul has taken the opportunity to switch the Quickie Bombs. Happy Cool's going to try and come in, but he trades with the roaming soldier. And now with both of their scouts down, this is not looking good because they don't have anybody with ×2 to play the cap point, even with the Quickie Bomb launcher on last. They even have Shocky just sat on it, and with a minute left, I mean, they've got an opportunity to just... The Ubers weren't traded, so they can just cycle in those scouts and start again. Why is Shocky on Spy? Oh, just to check. Don't know why he's checking, though.
Great play from Bash to just go main and just deny anyone getting in to help the players going for point. It meant they basically got completely sold out. There was no additional spam damage to help them win any fights on point. And now it's going to be a straight-up Uber change. 40 seconds left on the clock. The Ubers are traded. Captain's going to try and get out, going to try and fight Reliant. But he's forced out, and here comes the repush. This is all important. This has to work right now for nameLess. They get 2 frags. Shocky's weak on the point. Scouts going for it. They drop to it. Brago's there by himself. They get it. 4-4.
Wow.
20 seconds left.
Brago was just playing on that top left-hand side, and Bash got juggled off. I think the entire thing there was won by D-Mul. D-Mul juggled Bash away from his position on top right, where he was set up perfectly to deny that push. Just juggled him off, and he fell to main. And then Bash was just pyro in main, useless for the entirety of the push. Whereas if he had been there denying the Uber charge, they would have got a much better Uber. They would have denied them all of that position at the beginning. I think we would have seen them win that had Bash been pyro set up. Wow.
And yeah, well, let's take a brief look at logs before we go into that golden cap. That is also important. And what really strikes me here is, compared to the first map, Perm died more than Fun.
Very interesting.
Lot, but, you know, considering the disparity was like double the deaths for Fun last map, it's really equalised out.
Yeah, it certainly has. Permzilla on 10 deaths. That's really more than he normally gets, but I think this game was a lot closer and had more rounds in it than nameLess normally see. Even if the games are close with nameLess and another team, they always slow the game down to the point where they're in control at some point, and they wait and minimize the amount of rounds against them. This time, Happy Farmers were just slamming round after round against them. Unfortunately, weren't able to hold on to their lead.
Yeah, and Lord knows which way this is going to go now in this final round.
Very difficult to tell. Captain, once again, excellent game. D-Mul playing fairly well. I mean, he had some good plays, pretty much saved in that last push as well, in my opinion. Bash and Shocky, though, just tearing up this game. It was the Bash and Shocky show for the majority of this map.
Also, look how many, like, obviously Stark's, you know, what, second highest on damage, but a 19-12-19 is not bad, but it's not what you're used to seeing from Stark.
Yeah, you'd normally expect him to have more frags than that, I guess. I mean, the fact that he's got 12 assists may suggest that quite a few of his frags were stolen. The fact that he had so much damage and so many assists might mean that, you know, had a few pellets gone the other way, we might see him with over, 25 kills or something and a slightly lower amount of assists. But I agree. He wasn't having as big an impact as Shocky and Bash were having. The scout combo of Stark and Hafikul had a rare and uncharacteristic moment of being outplayed here on Badlands.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And especially on Badlands, with how easy the last push is, with obviously that cap time, it's a real coin flip for the second map. It kind of all comes down to this mid.
A lot of it is going to come to the mid, yes, I agree. So here are a few things that have been recurrent themes on the mid fight. Stark has been exploiting the closet area every time the shithouse has just been coming in from the shithouse. Brago has occasionally had it sticky, but Stark's been wary of it, just kind of baiting out the sticky trap and then coming around the shithouse instead. So I don't think that's a successful counter. Captain has been getting an air shot on every mid-fight, although it doesn't really seem to have much effect either way. So maybe the fact that he's hitting those air shots, is the only thing keeping them in it, frankly. So we need to see another air shot from Captain, only for the stream though, not for any tactical reason.
It's the same thing, when you said like Shocky just 1v2 him at shithouse. It's like Captain just air shot them when they try and jump shithouse. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So we have gone into overtime. This is our golden cap. Brago is going to be rolling out from house at the same time as Demol. They're both around the same time. Demol's going to choose a house rollout as Brago goes from balcony. Both of the scouts choose from Happy Farmers to go from Hoodoo and get up there. Relio hits a really nice direct onto Drac and then puts a ton of damage onto Stark as well. So he's putting in the effort required to make something happen. Bash comes in but beats a load of shots onto Permzilla, and he's not going to be able to find the frag on the UK medic. Captain super weak and eats a pipe from Brago. Brago on full health is going to attempt to clutch this with the help of Shocky. Demol hits a pipe onto Relio, but Happy Call and Perm so weak here. Brago's been sold down the river before Dameezy and Shocky can help him, and now we see a 3v3. It's both of the scouts from nameLess, and they've just chosen to back off here, Shocky and Dameezy. Strange.
Perms, I don't think they realised Perm left them. I think they thought it was like going to be two full heal-focused scouts to fight on mid, and Shocky was kind of separated from the heal, so they decided to back out. But Perm left, just one of those weird.
And had Uber disadvantage. Was 5 seconds away from the Uber. Stark's all the way in deep behind. Takes so much damage. Gone down to 5 HP twice in a row. 5 HP, took a health kit, 5 HP again. And now is on half health, just scuttling around, picking up the health kits, choosing his time to engage. He's going to be coming in from behind, or just trying to draw people back.
Demol's just doing that sort of, long-range sticky spam, and Fun almost steps on one too many as he goes down to about 80 and 90 health. But actually, if we're going to speak Bash, who eventually cleans up Stark behind, but again, this is kind of what nameLess are happy either way. Either Stark gets a pick behind and they push, or Stark gets picked and they give them the difficult option to push into this middle. And we're going to see a solo Relia Uber coming out. Perm is going to milk it for a little bit, but will pop it down. Now Fun's trying to get out, but Relia is distracting as well. And I don't think nameLess quite know what we want to do with the rest of this and just end up staying where they are.
I don't think that was a bad situation from Relia. I think he played that fairly well. He has a worse Uber and then takes it out through Valley. If somebody chased through Valley, then they've got Dameezy and Bash there to eat them up. So I think he played it as well as could be expected. Nobody on nameLess even thought about overextending. We were talking about that in the pregame as well. Nobody pushed into Resub trying to chase down Relia and overextended into Dameezy or Bash. Nobody pushed in through Choke and extended into Brago. And now they just send in Stark once again to make the solo play, the solo effort.
And he's so unlucky not to get Brago. Captain tries to follow up, but has to surf out after he takes a bunch of damage. But again, a similar situation, and it actually looks like Brago's trying to walk in. Redia's going to go in instead, launches Captain up, actually forces view, but Perm has to pop. Fum doesn't quite have it yet, he's so low. Will pop it off. Now Brago's got plenty of Uber to chase with. He's launched him up in the air, Perm's going to surf it all the way out. And now Brago and Shocky are walking forward. Drax trying to deny. Bash is there to help as well. Brago's connecting pipes, though Stark's weak again. nameLess are desperately trying to hang on to this mid. They don't want to give up any ground, and they will hold on to it. Was that two Uber exchanges and no ground traded?
Yeah, I feel like if Relia had been alive there, or if Dameezy had been at Choke, they would have been able to enter. What they were lacking was somebody to really drive deep and turn eyes, but nameLess were doing an excellent job of denying Dameezy over at Valley, because Dameezy chose a slightly too early moment to engage. But we're just talking tiny little bits here between what could make a successful push and what doesn't. Dameezy now going to eat a direct in resub. Going to see if he can get onto Permzilla for a force, but the Ubers are going to be traded around this Grey Bridge area, and they've given up so much ground here. They just have to fight around Spire, Happy Farmers.
Yeah, they've actually picked off Stark though, and now Demol's in a bit of trouble as well. Shocky trying to fight him, but Draxnair and Captain to help him out. Now Captain's trying to go again. Brago can't hit Perm either. He hits him, but he's so low.
He walks onto a roller though, and Permzilla dies. So Brago is going to be able to pick up the medic. Uncharacteristic from Permzilla. Normally he's got pretty good awareness actually of rollers and movement, but he ate a pipe and then in his desperation to run away ran into one of the previous pills which had collected in Haunter.
And meanwhile, all the players who got behind, like Drac, Captain, Stark, all threatening, a collapse on these remaining players, all get cleaned up. They deal with all the backcap threats as well as picking up the medic in the front. And what a crucial moment in this golden cap that could turn out to be, as we see nameLess setting up on balcony, Uber disadvantaged by about 40%, Stark on sniper. Where's Stark holding from? He's just holding from just behind Demol in trash. And I think they're going to peek Choke. This could be deadly. Stark's waiting. He's waiting so long. He gets Shocky. He's given the game away now. And I think they're all just trying to get out. They're going to regroup, and they lose 2, so surely they can't do anything with Nasuba now. In fact, they'll have to be careful they don't get forced in an unfavourable situation. And it's actually Drak going all the way behind. He sees an option, he's going to land on Fun. Fun has to pop. Drak's now going to jump away as well. Brago's going to go deep to try and make something happen, but they're so far away. Haffy calls super low, Demul's tags, but Brago can't finish any of these frags. And now they're still committing. They're all over Permzilla. Benny's actually going to get the frag on Permzilla. Damazy's gone deep as well. It's going to cost them both soldiers. And now Brago's fighting everyone by himself as well. They just need to get out. If they can keep Fun alive, this might be pretty good for them.
Thun on 14 health there as he takes a load of damage as he comes in through the choke point. Bash and Brago doing their best to try and fend off the aggressive nameless players. And Shockey's in behind and just 1v1's Haffy for the point. Okay, whatever Shockey. Just doing Shockey things. Hashtag just Shockey things. But he's found that frag and that's really opened things up for them. With that uber advantage that they have once again, they're going to be able to take control of Spire here.
Yeah, Brago jumps ahead, picks off the threat of Stark on Sniper, meaning they're not going to be trapped in that same situation of trying to get Fun in through choke. And they have an uber advantage, and this could be it. This is a great opportunity.
They've had a very high success rate on their last pushes, in an almost complete opposite performance to Process. Their last pushes have been very successful so far on average. And Thun has dropped down to main. They're going to be trying to take this one in from main, it looks like, with Relior and Brago. They're just spamming pipes up or stickies at the moment. And a little bit of spam is brought down there, but there we go. They pop it off, but have lost Bash in the meantime. And Hafikul's going to be doing a good job at denying this one. And they have that overcharge advantage, but Perm's got it in 10 seconds if they beef this push, and it looks like they might well have beefed it. Demul goes down though, and that is absolutely crucial, because that opens things up with no stickies on the point, and they're going to be drawing all of these nameless players down. There's only the 2 scouts alive though, along with heals, and they just didn't have enough players to capitalize on the Demul pick at the end.
They're in a tough situation right now, because Shockey and Bash love to back cap. Badlands is a very dangerous last point. They have to push out. It's a golden cap. They have uber advantage. Shockey's in drop down. He's going now. He sees Haffy Cool. Haffy Cool does enough to deny him. Bash is hanging around trash as well. Nameless need to be so careful right now. Bash and Shockey both playing in the same one. Haffy Cool comes down though, kills one of them. Gets fragged by Shockey. But Shockey's not playing for the back cap right now, but Brago and Damazy are.
Brago and Damazy are in. They're onto the back cap. They've got a 2v2. Literally the same classes as well. But Demul and Captain come out on top. They win that fight. In the meantime, though, because Damazy and Demul and Captain haven't been helping their team on Spire, they haven't been able to take it, even with this huge ubercharge advantage. Oh, and Relior's timed. Relior timed out or lag there or something, and he just eats 2 pipes from Demul. And they are going to be able to take control of the Spire eventually. But they bought enough time there so that ubercharge advantage just didn't even come into play.
Yeah, and hopefully, I imagine Nameless are aware of this as well. They would have known that took such a long time. But what a crucial 2v2 that ended up being on last. Literally life or death of this map. And now we see Brago trying to get aggressive at choke. But Happy Farmer's still in control. They still aim the faster respawns, and they have Uber. They have basically an infinite amount of time to work with.
A pipe whistles past Permzilla's nose, and unlike the wasp that stung him once and caused him to pop an Uber, he manages to hold on to it this time. Damazy's in though, he's trying to make something happen. Big pipe from Demul though to finish him off in the air while he was held there. And this is probably going to be their opportunity just to sack Stark in.
Stark is moving up Valley right now. No one else is really committing. Stark's just kind of ghosted in behind him.
They haven't seen him.
Drak's going to go as well. Drak's a distraction. Stark comes from behind and gets the drop. He gets Brago as well. 2 crucial frags. Permzilla's going to back up and just let his team soak up all the pressure. And that could be it.
Shockey and Bash are going to the back cap. Shockey and Bash are going either for back cap or play. I'm not quite sure what both of the scouts have got in mind, but they are both behind at the moment, so that's going to draw all of these players back. Shockey's found a great pick as well, and Damazy finds one, and this is not enough from Demul. The spam is almost enough. He just needs to hit one good sticky, but he can't manage it. And Shockey and Bash, although they're so weak, have managed to get behind. And Shockey takes the 1v1 against Demul, even when he had heals. Stark is going to be able to put an end to that, but holy hell, Shockey is back.
What a beast. And like you said, Demul could have killed both of them with 1 sticky. They were so low. And now we see nameLess trying to make the push out. They still have Uber advantage, but damn, Easy's gone behind. He's actually going to go for a medic, I think. He's getting right behind Permzilla. Do they know he's there? Perm's right below him. Damn it, Easy's going to get on top.
Brago is destroying the scouts. He annihilated Stark, I believe that was, with his stickies, and then just pipes with a beautiful pipe onto Hafikul. Permzilla on about 7 health there, does manage to escape. But
they nearly
this
have
is
Uber.
Amazing from the Happy Farmers players.
Finally has Uber. Brago's low. They have to Uber to save Brago. In comes Bash and Brago. Pyro's denying him. Hafikul's not taking any damage. And Bash is going to go down. They've blown the push. Relia goes down as well. They blew it. Brago gets them all. But Shockey's now hanging around. Trash, he's 1v1 in start. Both scouts go low. Both scouts choose to back out.
Oh, they're re-pushing this! Shockey's in from bottom right, and Brago's going to follow them up, but they both die. They just both feed into the defense there, which was all clustered around, and Thune's going to fall as well. I feel like that was a pretty bad decision, actually. But it's all excellent awareness and play from nameLess as well. But Bash is in once again for the back cap. It's just a perpetual threat of a back cap. Bash's deathmatch not quite as good as his teammates there, or maybe just a choke or a fluff, but doesn't manage to even pick up Dimul, who had his back turned to him, laying down the stickies. Brago's got a sticky trap, and this golden cap, man, we've been all over the place, so we've been up and down, and it's a roller coaster.
And in comes for Uber right now. Captain trying to go deep, but gets denied by Brago so hard. He'll be saved by Permzilla with the Uber, and they do pick up Shockey. Obviously, once again, playing for a back cap.
Another incredible pipe onto Captain to completely deny his bomb and put him down to 14 health.
It's just going to have to sit in Valley, and Brago's just going for more. Captain dares to jump again. And they've taken control right now, but they've had to sacrifice their Uber advantage for it. And Brago's just full of confidence right now, playing so aggressive at that choke. And they've got Damn Easy on Sniper, who hits Captain again. Captain must have taken about 500, 600 damage in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'll buff his damage taken stat in the logs. He'll look like he's playing Zebasai's Sponge Pocket, but instead he's just getting slammed repeatedly in this choke point.
And again, they're trying to walk in with this Uber advantage, but it's not that big. Relia's walked his way in. Demul's trying to spam pipes. Captain's going to jump them. And the 3 people on the back cap right now. They're going to try and block it. They'll have Uber to block it. 4 times on the back cap. Damn Easy and Bash are trying to block it, but they can't. Drax already on his way to last. They're going to cap it. Drax on the point. Drax going to steal it for nameLess.
What an amazing turn of events.
With a back cap of all things.
A back cap, yeah, exactly. They just give them a taste of their own medicine with a triple back cap through the flank, but crucially, Drac goes all the way to last before the Spire is even capped, and that makes the difference, and they seal it up. Wow. We were on the edge of our seats for that one, but nameLess take it, and they are our winners of this cup. They take it in 2 straight maps, although it was incredibly hairy on this one. Let's take a look at the log of the golden cap, but that is nameLess, who are invited to Dreamhack Summer and are the winners of €1,000 courtesy of Razor and TF Cups. Whew, but it was more sticky than I thought it would be for the really undisputed #1 team in Europe.
That's probably the closest game they've had in a very long time.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe other than when they dropped that point to public clear.
Yes, yeah. But certainly this one will cast doubts over their ability to perform at the same level without Cadus, I think, as well. They do have Demon, they don't have Spud, so I mean, you have to throw that caveat in there. But the first tournament that Cadus isn't playing with the team, they get taken to a golden cap and are within a whisker of losing the map to a completely new team featuring a range of experience and talent. You've got to think that the door is flung, if not wide open, it's creaked ajar for these other teams in Europe to displace them from their throne.
Bear in mind as well, like that golden cap really could have gone either way.
Oh yeah,
like there were plenty of opportunities for them to be taken to this 3rd map.
And the game itself. I mean, in the game in regulation time, they managed just to squeak it in the final 20 seconds to a golden cap. So they were on the ropes the entire time. Apart from that final push, really, the golden cap was in the hands of Happy Farmers as well.
Yeah, that back cap, like it was stolen. Not just one back cap, but 2 and CP2 and last stolen from them.
What a play! What a tournament! I mean,
I know,
brilliant stuff. taking a look at the log here, Brago tops the damage with 317 damage per minute, 7 kills, 5 deaths. In terms of the medics, they both died the same amount of times, 2 deaths for both of them. Drac just getting eaten live, it appears, on the flank, but comes out with the clutch cap at the end. You don't need to do damage if you cap in the last point. It goes 2 for 4 with 80 DPM, but
it was his only cap as well. Like his kind of the only thing he did was win the game. That's all he did.
If you want people to do only one thing all game, I'd be happy with someone winning the game for me.
Yeah.
Shocky 7 for 7, just tearing through people all map. But it wasn't enough. It was not enough, but it was incredibly promising from Happy Farmers. If these guys are playing in, which I think they intend to, next season, and indeed next tournament when there's no nameless to stop them, they could well be shutting down a lot of these top Premiership teams.
I really think as well, like if you look at this as the final Dreamhack qualifier, and the teams that are going to be competing are going to be a combination of PC Master Race, maybe a bit of a dark horse, but then like Happy Farmers, Public Clear, and Lego. Any one of those three could get the final place.
Yeah, they absolutely could. It's blown wide open. I mean, the top two teams in Europe, as given by ETF2L seedings, are no longer in the running. It'd be very difficult to make an all-star lineup that would be on the similar level to Suave and would steal things. So this is just going to be an absolute grind for who's the best of the mid-Premiership teams.
Yeah.
It set us up for a very climatic last tournament to find out in 2 weeks' time who is going to be our fourth team at Dreamhack Summer and the recipient of the final €1,000 of the cash money dollar.
Not to mention, obviously, the tournament itself.
Yeah, I mean, this is setting up to be a really sick tournament at Dreamhack Summer as well. Permzilla joins us in the Mumble now for some interviews. You guys got given a decent game there. On Process, it was close for a while, and then you ended up running away with it towards the end once the time started ticking down and you were forcing mistakes. On Badlands, it was really down to the wire. What was going on between those two maps, and thoughts on Badlands?
I think Process was just a matter of learning how they played, because we'd played Process earlier in the day, twice actually. I think we played it in both quarters and semis, so we're kind of used to what we were doing. So it was just a matter of, because they did some really random stuff, so it was just like adapting to that basically. But Badlands was just a shamble from our side, honestly. Like they're talking about, our team's talking about it now, because it was not good. Like, they played well, but we really sort of shouldn't have struggled that much, I don't think.
What do you think was making you struggle? What do you think were the problems that caused you to struggle in that game?
It's the synergy of the team. Like, obviously, Cadis has left. People were trying to call more. It's pre-season. We haven't had enough time to sort of adapt to it, basically. People were doing different things at different times. And we're also just doing things we wouldn't normally do. Like, we're pushing from different places. We're going to different places. We're just being like a random team, basically. So I think that's the problem.
Who's calling for your team now that Cadis isn't there?
It's sort of like everyone. There's not really a main caller. Like, Stark is always really vocal on the flank. He was even when Cadis was there. So he's like sort of calling for the flank, and then me and Captain are sort of calling for the combo, I suppose. I think normally with Spud there, Spud would normally call a lot more than Demol, so Spud would normally contribute to the calls a bit more, but today it was mostly me, Stark, and Captain, I guess. But there definitely needs to be like some improvement.
Do you think that this next season without Cadis is going to be a more difficult one for you in terms of keeping control of your number one spot?
I think it's going to be difficult adapting, but hopefully we'll be able to adapt to Spud coming in and be able to get the sort of synergy down before the season starts, because I think even like, I know Cadis is obviously was a lot better than Spud, but I think Spud's got a lot of room to improve, and us as a team can adapt to him joining. So I think it will be closer, but I still think I'm confident going into the season. Especially now, is who's playing for you this season? Is that, am I allowed to say, or
Yeah. I'm playing at the beginning of the season.
you're playing at the beginning?
Yeah.
So,
And then they're coming in mid-season. Is that how?
Yep.
Okay, so hopefully we'll get you week 1 then. Yeah. So with the changes to your team, I think it'll make it a lot closer.
How much of this result do you attribute as well to having Demul as a stand-in? Did that make a difference?
I don't think so. We've played literally 2 or 3. I think 2 twice with Spud, and Deemal's obviously.
That's how
really
you say
capable.
2 times.
Yeah,
it's twice.
I was saying 2 or 3, and then I went for 2. Like Deemal's just as capable, like mechanically wise, I suppose. So it wouldn't. I didn't think it affected us that much. I think if Spud was there, it might have, because he communicates a lot more, so it might have steadied the ship in terms of like synergy and coordination. But other than that, I don't think it made too much difference.
Perm, now you've won your share of €1,000, are you going to buy a new chair?
No, I'm actually going to buy an I-58 ticket, I think. I'm definitely going to fund my way to Dreamhack.
What are the plans? Obviously, the status of everyone in terms of actually attending.
The status is we want to. That's it at the moment.
Vague and optimistic, I like it.
Yeah.
What's that, sorry? He's just...
The status of going to Dreamhack is we want to. That's all.
That's very... It always amuses me how little your team appears to forward think any kind of organisational things. Did you not anticipate potentially qualifying for the tournament?
Well, yeah, of course.
Oh, right.
But
so you've maybe put a bit of thought into it.
we have looked a little bit at like accommodation and stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe now we've got an invite, we'll actually do it properly. But
I see. Well, good luck to you there. Are you confident that you'll be able to take the first place at that LAN?
What teams have qualified so far? Was it you and
Us and Suave.
Yeah, sure, go. Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
What do you think about Happy Farmers as a team, just as a closing question? They're obviously going to be attempting to play Premiership this season. How do you think they stack up against the competition?
I think it's hard to judge because honestly, I think we played dreadfully in that game, and we played DD5F and Public Air, but we played a lot better. So I think it's hard to compare them to the other teams right now. But I mean, they've got the players, the names in their team to make an impact in Prem, I think. But it's whether I think a few players need to go back to their old form, maybe. Not saying any names, but
say some names.
Sideshow.
That's just rude. Very good then. CommanderX, do you have any closing thoughts for us?
No.
Did you enjoy your cake?
Yeah, I enjoyed my cake. It was only a small piece though. I enjoyed my cake almost as much as I enjoyed that final map.
Well, it was eventful. Hopefully, in 2 weeks' time, we will have just as eventful a tournament as well. And if you're listening, guys, and play competitive TF2, which I imagine the majority of you must do, then please consider at the very least signing up to the next open version of these, which is going to be 2 weeks yesterday. So on the 21st of May is going to be the next open tournament. Sign-ups are going to open tonight, and then another announcement will be in about a week's time, just to remind you guys. But please do sign up, support Razor on their system. Hey, help TF2 grow and at least put up a decent showing. The number of teams in the open version of this week's cup was slightly disappointing, but I have faith that it'll be larger for next week. Otherwise, I'm going to move to Overwatch. But from myself, CommanderX, and DavidTheWin, that's it for the third DreamHack Summer Qualifier. We'll see you next time on TFTV.